Size is too big.
She's back. She's in honorable position. It's the videos.
Can I share it through a Google Drive with it? Share a link?
That would be the best way. Just send that Google Drive link.
Still in the making.
So there's videos that are embedded on it, so it's chunky, it's a little big, so we're sending you a Google Drive link.
Okay.
It'll be faster.
Perfect. That's okay. Is it sending?
It's sending, but there's a couple hundred bags.
Taking time, it's time.
Well, we'll do this because we want to be mindful of your
Yeah, we have to
guys'
keep you guys on
time. You
time.
can go ahead and we'll start the presentation. If it comes through, then I'll upload it. If not, then we'll share it with the jury afterwards so they can.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's coming right now. You can see it's
Sure.
done. Yeah, so you get that then. Is that already on Google Drive or are you uploading to?
You know what, I don't know the latest version on Google Drive.
Okay.
That's
Just let it continue then.
Yeah.
Why don't you do your thing, because you got a kick on the clock. That'll go in the background while you guys are doing your thing.
Yeah, it just doesn't like the size of it.
No, it's.
Okay, do you want me to proceed at the
Yeah.
end? Okay.
You are more than welcome to go
Okay.
ahead.
Look.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome to stay.
Oh, you're leaving?
No,
Yeah,
he's not allowed to.
Ah,
He's not allowed to make you nervous? What?
Yeah. Okay. Hi. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me here today. It's great to meet all of you. My name is Vanessa Perez, and my business is Womentrepreneur. Whoops. You do need to stay. He's a tech guy. didn't wake up to be mediocre. And I hope none of you did this morning as well. The same goes for most of our clients that we serve. They are women who want more. They have an entrepreneurial spirit, but sometimes they just don't know how to get to where they want to go. Being an entrepreneur is risky, and especially in today's world. Our world has changed, but hopefully it's actually changing for the better. Hopefully we're learning from the experiences we're having today, and we're going to be able to ideate, innovate, and solve problems. And although the world has been changing, what's interesting about it is that we're all in this change together, right? We're not immune from for lack of a better word, from any of it. And now more than ever, we need to work on building strong communities. There's a need for entrepreneurs, not just because of the rate of unemployment, which obviously is a factor, or because someone's dissatisfied for their job, but there's a need for entrepreneurs because we need to innovate. We need to become creative, and we need to solve the problems that are facing us in our world today. However, innovation requires inspiration, motivation, and support. And as entrepreneurs, we often find ourselves alone in this. I know I do on occasion. We have to inspire ourselves. We have to motivate ourselves, and we have to support ourselves. But that isn't always true. I have two teenage boys, and when they were younger, we would watch a movie called Robots. Have any of you seen that in this room? Yes. We actually watched it again recently. It stars Robin Williams in it, and it's basically, the theme of it is becoming an entrepreneur. And there is a quote in there that says, see a need, fill a need. And basically the main character does just that. He is on a journey of entrepreneurship. He sees a problem in his robot world, and he's on his journey to fill that need. That's basically what I did. I saw a need. I actually experienced the same need. As an entrepreneur, I often found myself alone. There weren't many people around, like-minded people, who were interested in creating new things, new ideas, new products. They weren't interested in building a business or maybe multiple businesses. And and they weren't interested in possibly leaving a legacy. So I searched for what I needed. I would go to different networking groups. I would go to different women's groups. I would speak to different types of people, but I just wasn't finding what I needed. I felt like I was consistently being pitched to, or they were just kind of telling me, yay, go do it. But I needed more than that, and that is how Womentrepreneur came about. So just to start off a little bit about myself, I have been an entrepreneur since childhood. I can vividly remember sitting outside of my home growing up and setting up a lemonade stand, and then making the lemonade stand, and then marketing the lemonade, and then selling it to our community. I remember in school I would create games for the kids, and then I would sell tickets to my peers to be able to play those games. How I got away with that with the teachers, I don't know. And then I distinctly remember when I was 16, my very first job. Anybody remember Eckerd Drugs? I worked at Eckerd Drugs. I was the front cashier, and the district manager came in, sat me down, and said, where do you want to move up to in this organization? And I, without hesitation, looked him straight in the eye and said, I want to own the organization. So it's been ongoing. My education, I did graduate from the University of Central Florida with a business management degree. I also have a certification in nonprofit management from Rollins College over in Winter Park, and I learned a lot through my education and the information I needed to start my own businesses. However, as entrepreneurs, you would know that you don't really learn the practicality of it all until you're in the business. So I definitely did that. Qualifications, I could have listed a number of qualifications. I actually just listed one. It was one of my past clients reminded me of something I had done. They kind of pushed me into it, but it's called Miss Corporate America, and it's not your typical pageant. It's more for entrepreneurs and rising professionals in the community. And it was a great experience for me. I learned a lot from it. I learned my strengths, my weaknesses as entrepreneurs, and was able to move forward from that. As an owner, I've owned 3 different nonprofits. I've also owned 1 nonprofit. I'll just touch on my very first for-profit business. I opened a health and wellness facility back in 2003, hence Womentrepreneur since 2003, and it was a great experience, and we developed many relationships within the community. Unfortunately, we had to close our doors in 2009 due to the recession. Back then, I looked at it as a failure. Today, I actually look at it as something that I can learn lessons from, especially in today's circumstances. And I'm very passionate, sometimes too much. But all of my personality tests, I've taken multiple of them. I can't get away from it. It comes back, and ultimately, I love serving other people. I love seeing other people, fulfill their passion, fulfill their purpose, and ultimately be happy at the end of the day. So that's just a little bit about myself. As I touched on before, I've owned health and wellness business, or I've been in the health and wellness industry for 15 plus years. So over those years, typically I served thousands and thousands of women. I never excluded the men, though they were always welcome. But this is just a couple of slides. I didn't want to inundate you because you'll get the point of the women throughout the years that I've served. So just a couple of pictures. Women-owned businesses are growing. In 2019, women started 1,817 new businesses every day within the United States, just within the United States. And the number of women-owned businesses increased 21%, while all businesses increased only 9%. I've already started to see an influx of the number of women who are starting to become entrepreneurs just since this March, just since our shutdown. And I'd imagine those numbers will continue to grow into the coming years due to the mind shift that's happening with a lot of these women. A lot of these women don't necessarily want to go back to working 9 to 5. They are being able to work at home and now realizing maybe I don't want to go back to an office. Maybe I don't want to work for someone else. And although there are definitely some hardships we're experiencing due to COVID, there is also realization of the opportunity available if they're willing to just take a little bit of risk. So, who is our target market? Our target market cuts across people of all different classes, people from all walks of life who are fired to build a legacy business, but seeking accountability for the growth of personally and professionally. Specifically, our target market are solopreneurs. So those are the people that are doing it all themselves. Maybe they have a few hands working with them, alongside them, but typically they are legal, they're accounting, they're marketing, they're sales, they're doing it all. Our startup entrepreneurs, they're just getting started and need a little help along the way. Your sidepreneurs, maybe these are women that work 9 to 5 but are building a business on the side, or maybe these are moms at home with their children and they're trying to build something as well. Your small business entrepreneurs, so again, small businesses, maybe under 20 employees, probably been in business for about 1 to 5 years. This is our niche market. Why Womentrepreneur? What problem does Womentrepreneur solve for these women? First and foremost, and you'll hear this later in our testimonials, is accountability. When you're doing it all by yourself, as our market is doing, the majority of them, it's hard to stay accountable to yourself. You find those beeps and dings and emails coming through and the phone going off, and you get off task, and everything you said you were going to do, you end up not doing. So we hold them accountable. And that's one of the main things we've seen great progress and amazing results with. Every month they are accountable for the actions that they set for themselves. They receive local support from other women peers. The tendency, again, is to find themselves alone. But they're not alone. Oftentimes that's self-imposed. We're actually all alone in this together. The great thing, though, about today's changing world is that we're relying more and more on connectivity. Human connectedness is a necessity and a major component of Womentrepreneur. We bring local-minded women together who are facing similar challenges and help them grow personally and professionally while celebrating their successes alongside with them. Why? We bring them relevant resources. New entrepreneurs tend to become overwhelmed with all the information coming at them from every direction. I still receive that too, and oh, maybe I should try this, or maybe I should do this program, or whatever the case may be. We simplify it for them. Part of our process is giving them one-page resources that they can use and implement today to feel like they're successful in their action steps towards growing a legacy business. We have qualified mentors and coaches. So one thing I've realized in doing this business is I track my competitors. And I noticed with my competitors, which I thought was really interesting, is that the tendency is that they are trying to help women entrepreneurs, such as I'm doing, and yet, women build these businesses, and yet they've never had a business themselves. So I'm not, they're great. They'll talk about, oh, my mom had a business, or they helped a friend out who is starting their own business. But again, how I said, unless you've done it, unless you're practical and you've gone through the successes and the failures, it's hard to sometimes relate and trust. This is a huge one and one that we're focusing on right now today due to our circumstances, is building those relationships locally that will in turn spread globally. Womentrepreneur is not just another internet celebrity just trying to earn your dollar. Now, don't get me wrong, we're in business to make money. However, we know that by building a trustworthy brand, that's ultimately going to happen. So, the mission and vision of Womentrepreneur. Our mission initially starts with helping women entrepreneurs realize they didn't wake up to be mediocre. We are mentoring and coaching women within their own community and amongst the community of their peers to build their legacy business. And when we say legacy business, that's completely up to them. Whether it's just they want to earn an extra $100 a month for their family, whether they want to be able to build a business that they can leave to their children, whatever that legacy is for them. Our ultimate vision for Womentrepreneur is to build a highly competitive and effective entrepreneurial mentoring and coaching business that becomes the #1 choice for all startups and women entrepreneurs, both within the United States and globally. So how are we going to do this? Well, let's start with the services that we offer. What you saw there were our actual clients. So I don't know if you saw me smiling while that was playing. But those are the current services that we offer. We started in February. It was our very first in-person meeting. And in 1 month, we took 1 meeting in 1 city, and then we duplicated those efforts. In March, we went to 2 cities. And what we do is we focus on the personal and professional growth of these women. So we call our Think It meeting. It is basically a free meeting open to any woman entrepreneur within the community. And they can come, we bring in expert speakers, and they talk about the personal development that's needed to become the entrepreneur they want to be, right? Who do you need to be to build the business you want? Then we have our Grow It meetings. Our Grow It meetings are a little bit more intensive. These are limited to about 6 or 7 women who want to work on their business. And these include one-to-one check-in accountability meetings. Every month, they are responsible for the action steps that they say they're going to take. And again, we're seeing amazing results with that. Like I said earlier, our market is usually those solopreneurs, those sidepreneurs, those startups. So they don't have boards. Ultimately, this Grow It group becomes their board. And they're able to bounce, ideas off of one another and introduce new products and get feedback. And it's been awesome to see the collaboration that's been happening amongst these women. One of the reasons I'm standing here in front of you today is because these are 2 other services that we want to be able to offer. The Ask It service is going to be an online service that anybody could access globally. And basically what that is again, these entrepreneurs don't necessarily have the resources to bring someone on board who can full-time be their lawyer, their accountant, their marketing person. We want to be able to hire industry experts in all of these areas so that these women at any time in their business process can get online or call. And if they have a simple question that can be answered or someone that can guide them in the direction they need to go locally for their business, we'll be able to provide that. And then celebrate it. We're kind of already doing this because when you're in business, you should, right? You should celebrate your successes. So we make sure we highlight our members already through through all of our social media and our newsletters and all that type of things. We want to be able to offer sponsored events throughout the community. That's one thing in working for nonprofits and having my own nonprofit. I do a lot of community work. And then ultimately, when we can get back together in large gatherings, love to have an annual convention where we can bring all of these women from around the world together to think it and to grow it. Staying connected. Obviously, right now we're doing a lot of that virtually, and that's great, right? A notable trend in this industry is the influence of technology. The advent of technology is responsible for the increase in income generated by business coaches all over the world. With technology, it is now easier for business coaches to train clients virtually that are thousands of miles away from us. However, you cannot discount the impact of human connectivity in order to build a global community, and Womentrepreneur will continue to focus on that no matter the state of the world. Here's the fun part. The funding request. Although we have been successful and off to a great start, just through personal resources, additional funding is necessary. On average, starting a mentoring and coaching business is cost effective. There's no need for expensive equipment or machines. However, we're requesting just a standard office space in a good business district, such as Avalon Park, and the amount needed to equip the office and promote the business through staffing and development. Here's an idea of our initial organizational chart that we have planned. Once the funding is acquired, we will be able to fulfill our initial concept of the organizational chart. You can see in the black those we currently have and they're volunteering. Hopefully we would like to turn those volunteers into paid staff, in addition to the other primary needs in our org chart, such as the marketing, advertising, and sales. We are busy doing our research. This is just an idea within the United States of women-owned business growth rate. This was between 2014 and 2019, and just seeing already where we would need to expand. Our expansion plan. For 2021, we would like to expand to 25 cities with our mentors and coaches and to be able to develop a solid system and infrastructure. By 2022, we look at 73 cities with a fully staffed management team. 2023, 121 cities, and just starting that development into the international market. By 2024, 169 cities to expand to the international market, and 2025, 218 cities to solidify local and global balance. Avalon Park is the right place to expand. Why? Because our missions and our visions are actually in line. As an entrepreneur, you have to find a healthy balance, and I tell our clients that all the time. So Womentrepreneur, we encourage a live, laugh, work, play mindset and lifestyle. Although we want to build a global business, we have to start local within a community that needs and supports women entrepreneurs. Avalon Park is growing, women entrepreneurs are growing, and together we can fulfill our missions and visions. Benefits of having space on the fifth floor would actually be, we meet right now wherever we can. And it's worked out so far, whatever local venues are available. Obviously, it's virtually right now through Zoom, but it would be nice. It would be so inspiring to have a place that we know is kind of our home, that we meet and we can grow from there. We would hold our meetings and our conferences. Not only would we help the women that we are currently serving, obviously women entrepreneurs within Avalon Park, but the idea of bringing other women from outside of Avalon Park here as well, and their businesses with them, and possibly collaborating within to build that strong community. This is just an idea of our projected growth for our first, second, and third year. One thing is certain, there will always be women entrepreneurs that will need entrepreneurial mentoring and coaching in order to fulfill or in order for them to achieve their business goals. According to a survey conducted by the International Coaches Federation, entrepreneurs who use a business coach can increase their net income by an average of 46%. This is a major reason why these services of mentors and coaches will always be needed. The trend in the entrepreneurial mentoring and coaching industry is such that if you want to be ahead of your competitors, you should be able to acquire as much relevant entrepreneurial information as possible, be able to distribute that information efficiently, and to be able to have numerous testimonies from your clients. The truth is that if your clients experience huge differences in their business as a result of hiring the service of your organization, then they will be compelled to help promote your organization. And with that, here are some of our clients.
Hi, my name is Valeria Rivera.
My name is Michaela Walker.
Hi, Hi, my name is Tanya Tansky, and I'm a health and wellness advocate in Orlando, Florida.
The owner of Pasaya Florida in a social media marketing business.
My business is Orlando Parents Family Fun Magazine.
I joined Womentrepreneur because I was looking for ways to improve my internet business, but also I was looking for motivation and a system of support.
Because I've had my business for a few years, but it's kind of been coasting along. And this year I really wanted to move it forward.
When I first found Womentrepreneur, honestly, I didn't even really know I had a problem to solve in my business. I told myself I'm going to go to this first meeting, network with some other business women, get the word out about my business. And when I heard what this group was going to offer and what this group was really about, I thought, oh my gosh, I do have a problem in my business and I do need to figure out how to fix it.
But what I was looking for was to rediscover my motivation for my business, as well as get accountability. When I say I'm going to do something, I know that I have to be accountable to someone for getting that thing done. And now I have to check in with Vanessa at least 2 times a month, once with a one-on-one, and then once again in the larger group. It has been really great for me. I've seen a lot of progress.
The first thing is that she helped me figuring out my why, vision, mission, and also to make an actionable plan to bring results into my business.
I do what I do because I just want to help people feel better, to get better. Because of that, also, it led me to treat my business as more of a hobby than an actual business. This group helped me realize that I needed to set up a business plan. I needed to set up a mission statement. I needed to set all these things up so that I knew exactly what direction I wanted to take this company.
I believe that the ladies that are in the group are very knowledgeable, so we kind of help each other out by filling in the different gaps. And then Vanessa helps move us along. We have our goals, we have our vision, we make sure that we're tracking our expenses and our revenue. Speakers are brought in to talk to us about things like social media, marketing, making sure that we're making time for ourselves and mindfulness. So just things that will help us grow as entrepreneurs as well as grow as women.
Going through that process, I was also able to discover another passion, and that is marketing, which I was doing for my previous businesses. While I was going through this journey, Vanessa helped me also to get in touch with myself, and that's how the social media marketing business started.
As a personal trainer, I know that accountability is key. It's a no-nonsense group, and this group holds me accountable. Makes me want to do more for my business because I want to prove to them that, hey, I'm a person of my word. I can do this. I am as strong as all these other women business owners. We can all do this together and help each other out. Collaboration is a lot more important than competition.
I think that Womentrepreneur has been great for me. I have been on ABC News twice, which is pretty impressive.
I only have good things to say about Womentrepreneur, and I'm very thankful to be part of this amazing team of women.
Getting all the tools and learning the steps are one thing, but having a group there to hold you accountable and make you keep your word, to do what you said you're going to do with your business, and to hear other women going through those same things is amazing.
Alright, so you're going to have to excuse me, because normally we've been doing this online. However, I am going to ask you to think it for a minute with me. And basically take a moment to think back to when you started your first business or you started your career. And I'd imagine you didn't have all the knowledge or skills that you needed then. And maybe you were at a loss of where to go and what to do and how to accomplish your goals. This is the same for these women entrepreneurs. So I'm just going to put in your hands one of the resources that we use. And as I said, we do one-page documents. And of course, these can be expanded to their needs. And most of it's online that we do, but just for ease of technicality. And I know it's super small, so yeah, yeah, I know. When I put it out, I was like, oh, that's really small. That comes out much bigger online. But this is one of those documents that we use, and we provide this to the women, this is that accountability document. One thing I realized in starting this business with these women were they didn't know their numbers. So a lot of them, I told them, what are you doing? Is it a business or is it a hobby? And I said, you should at least have some basic knowledge. You may not, you're not an accountant. And half of them are like, I would never want to be an accountant. I don't have those skills, but you should at least know the basics. So we start every meeting at least with that, knowing their numbers of what's coming in and out. And then just going over and what they said they were going to do and those action steps as far as personal growth and professional growth. And from month to month, just making sure they're on track with their goals. And then usually we close out every meeting from that discussion. We make sure they're on track for the next month, but we close out reminding them, why did you get started in the first place? What's your vision? What's your mission? And just make sure that they are on track with what they said they were going to do. And one client, as you heard in the testimonial, realized, I don't even want to do this business. I kept that, and and it was interesting. And she realized in our conversations, she was more of a marketing person, a social marketer. And now she started an entirely new business from that conversation. And I can see she's much happier, headed in a much better direction. In conclusion, those two last ones are not supposed to be up yet. In conclusion, Womentrepreneur might be new in Orlando, Florida, but our plan is scalable, allowing for face-to-face, one-to-one, and virtual entrepreneurial mentoring and coaching services. We intend to hire professional mentors and coaches that can relate to our clients and successfully build personal and professional skills in all of our clients. In addition, our employees will be trained and well taken care of. This will enable them to be more than willing to build a business with us and help deliver our set goals and objectives. That's how it's supposed to work. Timing. Now is a great time. It's surprising in a downturn as we're seeing within our economy a little bit, that this is where innovation occurs. This is where people are creative and they want to start new ideas and projects and businesses. There's a need for it. We need entrepreneurs. We need them to solve the problems that are arising and problems we've had. Location. Avalon Park is location to expand Womentrepreneur. Womentrepreneur plans to expand globally. However, we want to be able to duplicate our efforts that we built first within a community such as Avalon Park. Support. Beat said he wants to help entrepreneurs get started. Womentrepreneur wants to help them finish what they start. We will offer them the support to move past all the risks they might think they have to take, or that lack of self-confidence, and guide them in building their legacy businesses. And last, that was it, is success. Well, if we do all of these things together, we ultimately all succeed. That was all the pictures of all the women I've served all over the last 15 years. There's probably more in there, but we did a quick video to sum it up quickly for you.
That's great.
Yeah, so with that, thank you so much for having me here today. I appreciate your time, and on behalf of all the women that we serve currently and hopefully serve in the future, thank you as well.
Thank you. We're going to go on the panel. As I mentioned, for those who were not able to be here, this is recorded so they can see it. And guys, I know the screen was a little bit tough to see. It was a little too large to share with you. So in our daily recaps, I'll send you the link so you can view any of the videos or the slides that Vanessa had and review that data in depth. But Ravi, let's start with you. Do you have any questions for Vanessa regarding her business in the presentation?
Thanks, Stephanie. Hi, Vanessa. Ravi here. Great presentation. It's admirable what you do. So my question is regarding your clientele. How many paying clients do you have today? Or how many do you usually have over the course of a year?
Good question, Ravi. So we just started in February, and out of
Right. Okay.
yes, and then we were locked down. But out of those initial clients that I was able to interact with, we managed to retain or bring on board 27%. of those initial clients. And through the pandemic and this time, we've retained all of those clients.
I'm sorry, Vanessa. I didn't get you the last bit. Something about the pandemic.
Through the pandemic, we've been able to retain all of those clients. We haven't lost one.
Great. But yeah, thank you. That's the only question I have.
Thank you, Ravi. Marta.
Hi. Hi, Vanessa. Thank you, Stephanie.
Hi, Martha.
Hi. Great presentation. Thank you very much. I think, yes, it's a service much needed when you are starting a business and you don't know exactly where to go. And having a resource or a mentorship, it's crucial to have a successful start. I have two quick questions, simple ones. I would like to know how you quote your services or you price your services and what different type of levels of services you have. And then the other question I have is how you compare yourself with SCORE and Prospera. I don't know if you know about those programs. SCORE is a program of mentorships across the nation, and they are a non-for-profit organization, and they are located at the Fashion Square Mall. And Prospera is kind of the same, but directly specific for Hispanic people and population. So those are my questions.
Okay, certainly. So your first question was our pricing. And basically, I showed you the 4 different services. Right now, we offer the Think It service, which is free to the community. That's an initial service just to get the women in and let them know what we offer them. And then we have our Grow It. And to become a part of the Grow It membership, it is $129 a month, which I'm realizing needs to be a little bit more for the services that we're offering. But we're testing out the waters right now. And then our Ask It, which will be our online resources that will be available globally, that will be a $49 monthly membership. And that's our pricing structure at the moment. We're looking at possibly implementing as well an advanced coaching system, which on average, if you look up how much a coach would earn on average, is about $275 an hour. So it would be a little bit pricier than the initial Grow It membership that's at $129 per month. And then in response to your second question, yes, I've actually used SCORE before. The one thing I found with SCORE was that nobody ever followed up with me. I would attend the meetings and they would provide me some information, but then that was the end of it. Then I had to do my own follow-up work. And actually, one of my consultants that I said is volunteering with me, she worked with SCORE before, and she also worked with the SBA. So we'll be using a lot of her knowledge and resources to implement into our own business. But I am familiar with them. The other one, Prospera, I'm not as familiar, so I wouldn't be able to attest to that one.
They just share offices in the same area in the Fashion Square Mall. It's just more specific for Hispanics, but it's more or less the same.
Okay, yeah. No, SCORE is great. They offer valuable information. But like I said, that was the one thing. There wasn't a lot of follow-up.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alan, do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, just a quick question. You mentioned that you have some volunteers you're working with, and curious about what that would look like in terms of expanding your team, because I could see this as scaling, how that would work for you in the future to bring on other staff.
Yes.
Thanks.
So the intention is not to keep them as volunteers. We would like to bring them on as part-time or full-time staff. And then if you notice in our org chart, so right now it's our assistant and our content writer that is volunteering, but like I said, we'd like to change that over. And then in addition to that, bringing on a marketing and salesperson, and then also hiring those coaches and mentors, all being paid as well through the services that we are able to offer. I'm not sure if I answered your question fully. No. But yes, we'll probably only use our volunteers at our nonprofit events.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
Thank you. One of our panelists, Carolyn Dykes with the UCF Incubator, actually had a conflicting meeting at this time, but she will receive this, and I'm sure she will have valuable input for you. She's wonderful. Have you met Carolyn?
I haven't, no, yeah.
She's an awesome connection, and she's an amazing person, so I know
it's been 20 years, I think, since I've graduated. So maybe, I'm not sure if she was there then.
I just wanted to provide a little bit of input for you,
Sure.
especially in your niche, because as we've gone through these presentations and we've heard some other that have similar business ideas as
Okay.
yours, not in that point the same niche as the women. This week, one of the local ladies here created a Facebook group called Support Women Small Businesses, and it's just like a Facebook group for people to interact together. And I've been amazed. It's been 3 days, and there's 467 small women business owners in Avalon Park and Eastwood and Stony Brook. So within this small little triangle, within the kind of the Alafaya triangle, in 3 days, 467 entrepreneurs, mainly home-based, are emerging. So I think that's a huge, and I'll make sure you get this so
Yes,
you can
thank
join
you.
it, and
Yes,
that's a
yeah.
great market for you. But I think, I was actually surprised about that too. I'm like, wow, that's an amazing amount of women in this area
Yeah.
who are home-based business and looking to grow, especially because I think in the state of the economy and COVID and all those kind of crazy things that are happening right now, they're looking for other opportunities, and I think they could benefit from mentorship and from being able to take those ideas that they have and be able to grow them. So I thought that might be a resource to you
No,
too.
I'd love to have that. Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. And that's exactly it. As I'm starting, I want to see them finish. And because a lot of times we start, we're excited about it, but ultimately, exactly why I'm offering these services. We don't know where to go from that. Where do we take that spark to that flame?
Exactly. And I think, as we've sat through these presentations and we're hearing some of the main things that people need are connections.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, Avalon Park is the perfect place for that. So the 5th floor, ideally we'll have, and Alan can attest to this too, 100 to 150 entrepreneurs in the 5th floor.
Wow.
Alan?
Is that how many?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wow. That's a big 5th floor.
So there's,
The 5th floor on the 2nd floor, but it's good.
Wow.
so there's the potential to reach, not only the entrepreneurs in that space, but just within Avalon Park proper, there's 90 plus businesses. As I mentioned, there's the 467 women home-based businesses just within this area. So I think there's the opportunity and there's the niche, and I think they need that mentorship. That was kind of my 2 cents. Do you have any questions or comments?
I think it's great. I think you did a great presentation and put it all together. My thought is you spend all of your time helping these other women with their businesses. How much time do you spend on your own business?
Well, that was it. It's interesting you asked that because today I was like, okay, just need this presentation to be over so I can go back to work. But that's exactly it. And I realized that through the years. I really have to work on it, as opposed to in it and helping all these other women. And I really have spent a lot of time helping other women. But I'm at a point in my life where I'm being a little bit selfish. And that's one of the reasons I'm here before you today, because I know part of this award is being able to have that help that in turn I'm going to go and help these women with, being able to have those relationships with people, with industry experts who have more knowledge than I do and could help me grow this business.
I think it would be good, you already kind of touched on it, to look at your fee structure.
Yeah.
What you're charging for these services. I think the Ask It thing is a great idea. That's something we're counting on too as part of the 5th floor, right? It's the folks that are part of that organization have access to things that they might not otherwise, accountants, lawyers, MBAs.
I saw that and I said, oh, they stole my idea. No.
But so your $49 monthly membership, is it like $49 plus whatever your CPA wants to charge you?
Well, if they want services beyond, it's going to be limited, what they can get answered and what type of help they can receive. And then if they want services beyond that, then yes, they're going to have to contact those. So.
Okay. And then your growth plan. I mean, you're talking about 220 cities in 3 years.
I know.
Is your model more of like a franchise model? Is it everybody that would be part of that organization will be part, on your payroll? How do you?
Yeah, initially, that's how I'm looking at it. It would be on my payroll. My idea, and this is where I would like a little help with, if it's, is that other women like myself, or all these women that she just said, 500 women at home trying to build a business, that they have some knowledge, right, of being an entrepreneur. So why not give them an opportunity? I'll have all the programming, the resources, and say, here, if you want something on the side to be able to supplement your income while you're building this business, you can take this within your own city, and you have everything you need to hold these free meetings, to hold the one-on-one accountability meetings. So that's how I look at that expansion
I
process.
think that's a great idea.
No, I mean, Vanessa, you are, first of all, you're in the top 28 of the 153 applicants. That's already a victory itself. And I kind of like, talking about the fifth floor where we want to go into 3 dozen cities around the globe and have our footprint now in Europe, Asia, and, here in Orlando or in Central Florida. I think it's a perfect way to follow us, and we follow you. And you're in a long line now of, I said it before, 20 years ago when we seeded this community, we're just cows, about 22 years ago, just cows here, we were looking for entrepreneurs. The mindset was a little bit different at that time. We got numerous requests for $1 million, $10 million, $100 million. It was all money, nothing else, And I kind of like already at that time thought, for some of those entrepreneurs, money is important for any enterprise, most enterprises, but you're in a long list now with the finalists here who don't primarily are looking for money. I think you're primarily looking for a network. You're primarily looking for, is it mentorship? I think it's just be part of a network, and I think that's exactly what the fifth floor is. So I'm very convinced, because you're a finalist, have an award, you'll have, an entrepreneur family which you will join and which will be a win-win for both sides. And you mentioned it before. There's lots of accents. We have Ravi from Malaysia, actually living in Singapore. Me from Europe. You, Marta, and others from Latin America. Those guys from the Midwest. So I think I think welcome. I like your presentation, and what I think at the end, you have a relatively simple idea. It's not capital intense. It's relatively simple. But what I learned over many over 3 decades now, I had people presenting very complicated, at first, very intriguing ideas. I had other people presenting simple ideas with passion and determination. And it's always the people who succeed and not the idea, So I think what Trey had got to do a little bit, probably have to focus, and you want to go to 230 cities. That's a big deal. Then probably you have to focus on this, but I'm very, very sure that we can help you, and I'm very, very sure that we can work together for your venture. And thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Hey, Bia. Hey, I didn't ask for those 10 or 100 millions. I kept it a little less.
Yeah, you were, but it wasn't you, it was your wife, without your knowledge, so.
That's true.
This is an entrepreneur. He is up in Indiana now, and he's the CEO of a company which we sold. He started here, and when we announced this almost 2 decades ago, got a letter from his wife that his company is for sale. He worked at a subsidiary of Lockheed Martin. He wants to go on his own. He didn't even knew that his wife wrote us, and so I was on a plane up to Chicago with my family. My wife looked at the business and said, hey, this is a winner. And, we started the business. And actually, what I still remember, when we started Data Transfer Solution, we wanted to sign the corporate documents, and you may remember in 2004 was the hurricane series, and we survived every hurricane, but when we tried to sign the documents, lightning struck our building. We were the building just down the street, so we couldn't even, start the company for technical reasons, and many would have probably thought, come on, this is a sign, lightning strikes the building. When we started the company, it was a very successful company with eventually 8 offices all over the United States, leader in geographical information systems, 100+ employees, starting from scratch, and that's, still the shining example. There were others which didn't succeed, but like with Alan, Jason, Trey, and Cynthia, that group, it succeeded because there was a group of determined people who wanted to succeed, So you could have said, hey, there's lots of competition, there's biggies in, the industry and in GIS, etc., but they wanted to succeed. And I remember too, Alan, when we once talked about we should have a $100 million business, he looked at me and he said, what I really want to do, I want to do cool things. And I kind of like that stuck with me. And often when I'm in Europe, I just say, look, let's try to do cool things, So because you want to do, if you want to do cool things, you will succeed.
Yeah.
Cool things succeed because you're excited about what you're doing. That's the key, and you definitely are. And welcome. We're glad that you're here. We're glad that you presented. We will definitely, we'll go through the final presentations and then be back. Actually, we want to, I think, make a presentation August 1st in the Avalon Park Sun with all the candidates. So at the end of July, which is very quick, it's in 2 weeks, you will know what you will be awarded. And I think it may need a little bit fine tuning because this is not kind of like just, oh, hey, you need this in finance, you need this in relationship, you need this in connection, you need this in space. I think what we will do, we'll sit with you together again and say, how do we plan this? If you can move into, a space. If you have the following assignment, we have CPA here, we have lawyer here, etc. If we can connect you with the following organizations here and internationally, and as well, often there's some rich money which is involved too, and then we'll probably, it has to be a win-win, design, a plan, which you have to obviously approve to say, okay, in the next 6 to 12 months, I want to go from here to there, and it needs the following, and then we'll plan further, So, thank you for being here.
No, thank you. I appreciate your time today. Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, panelists, I'm going to end and we'll see you at 4:45.
Okay, so now we
Thanks.
are ready for more than 5 minutes.
You guys are busy.
We are always keeping busy for a
And
lot.
I'm going to apologize because I didn't say it. I heard it. Yeah.
Yeah.